I feel like we're entering this dark timeline where, internet privacy is just being completely trampled over just out of nowhere, right? Like, in the past couple months, I think in America there were like three bills that are passing that will try to destroy internet anonymity and anonymity. I'm fucking tired, bro. But and we already know what's happening in UK. Like we don't need to go over that situation. We know they're going after. They're claiming to protect the children, but I mean, when I was young, we were very resourceful when we were kids. Like, if shit like this would happen when I was young, like, well, I mean, that'd be like 2005 or 6. But kids are already doing it, right? Like, they're already using pictures of, uh, from that Death Stranding game, that main guy, that Reeves dude to bypass, the facial scans. And it asks for mouth open and mouth closed. And people are already like kids are already circumventing that as we speak, right? So now I feel like the next big thing companies will try to crack down on is VPNs because this is one massive thorn in their side, right? And okay, this isn't a company, but this is an entire fucking nation, like an entire country doing this, right? Because Brazil bans X, formerly Twitter, and fines VPN users accessing it. So, I mean, people try to throw the slippery slope argument in these things, but remember, in the UK, like, they want 16-year-olds to vote, but you're not allowed to access certain sites on the internet because they might have adult content, but things like protests are being considered adult content. And okay, fair, there can be violence, and I guess the idea of adult, because you think like porn, right? Which, okay, everyone will agree kids shouldn't have access to porn, but they're expanding that to mean even protests. So they want kids to vote, but they don't want them to see why they need to vote or to hoops they need to vote against because you're not allowed to see that. So slippery slope. Like I'm not making the argument. The UK is, and Brazil is making the slippery slope argument, right? Fine, 9,000 Brazilian real, right? That's a lot of money. I heard it's like a day for people trying to access X via VPN. Why? Like you're going after, right? Like your citizens. Like what is the reason to go after your citizens for using the VPN? And this is just one country. And is this something that's robustly, enforced? Probably not, right? But do you want to take the risk? Imagine you are the one person caught, and you have to, you know, fine 9,000 fucking dollars just for accessing a social media site. VPNs have become dispensable tool in both personal and professional spheres by encrypting internet traffic and masking IP addresses. Yeah, like a lot of people use it to like bypass region locked content on Netflix, but it does have like the ad block features. It does have like certain level of online protection. I mean, the idea that the government does not know who's using a VPN is laughable, right? It's just right now they're not going for them because, I mean, maybe some of the constituents and third-party sites use VPNs. But, and this is what I was told, like, there is so many third-party data brokers that just erected in the past 5 years, right? Just, and their entire thing is to store up data and send them to this site, or store up data, send it to this payment processor, store up data, and just sit on it for whoever can bid the highest for it, for the express reason of shoving ads down your fucking throat, right? Like data brokering has just become this entirely new business to business entity that you, the consumer, has no idea is happening. And okay, Facebook deals with these, Instagram deals, like any social media company deals with these data brokers. Like what can be considered a data breach, you could easily consider the site like behind closed doors selling that data, but up front saying it's a breach. Like we don't know. I mean, and even if it is a legitimate breach, why do we want social media private companies whose entire business model is to make money, right? Because if the product's free, you're clearly the product. Why do we want them to have even more personal information? You know, above the personal information you've already put online, right? Well, of your choosing, like personal information that your government already has, right? You know, hell, who knows who has your fucking personal information? Like this isn't 2006 where the internet was effectively this completely different space, a completely unknown space, and the smart thing to do was to use an alias. You know, never put your face online, never put, your personal information online. Now it's like people gladly do it. And not only that, they demand you do the same. Like, what do you have to hide? And it's like, I mean, we have a lot to hide, right? I mean, why do I want someone in fucking Russia and China knowing my personal information? Like, what do I gain from that? You know, if anything, it can come at a detriment. There's so many fucking scams that happen over, like, the internet. You know, some of them probably from the very data brokers that have your information. Like, so I don't understand why now all of a suddenly the online space is safe, right? Just out of nowhere. You have to adhere to quote unquote robust age verification. And now YouTube's going to use AI to try to check your age. So if you ever like what I heard is older accounts will be fine, but if you're a newer account, like don't ever rely on the autoplay feature to send you to fucking Coco Medlin, because if that happens, it could flag you. And okay, the flagging is whatever, but what you need to do is then show your face or other personal information that they say they delete, but who the fuck knows, to try to prove you are who the fuck you say you are. And that's the problem I have. Furthermore, VPNs are not illegal in Brazil, and their use extends far beyond accessing a single social media platform. They're widely used for legitimate purposes, such as protecting online transactions, securing remote work connections, and ensuring privacy while browsing the web. The widespread use of VPNs are used for these lawful activities, complicit the enforcement of the targeted ban on using VPNs specifically to access X. I mean, and again, like, how, like, okay, let's say you accidentally click an X link. Like, didn't, like, countries like Canada and Australia, tried to impose a link tax on Facebook. This is like a couple years ago, and because like they're like, oh yeah, our journalist uses a lot of the links, so you should have to pay for them. And then Facebook told Canada to fuck off, and Canada's like, now hold on, all right, now that okay, this is a bad idea, and they told Australia to fuck off, and Australia was like, now hold on, you know, small businesses here fucking going under. We're destroying our economy because you know Facebook is a perfect way to get information, at least along amongst the older demographic for like businesses selling your businesses and stuff, and just information and all that's going down. Like, well, let's not do that. Like, they eventually cave in, and Facebook's like, that's what the fuck I thought. Why VPN ban in Brazil is unlikely to succeed? I'm not going to read this right. They're trying to wave the sword of Damocles over the head of average individuals. And it's easy to think like an American about this and be like, this is ridiculous. But, $9,000. Like, I don't know the average income of the Brazilian individual, but I'm looking at that number. I'm like, that's a lot of fucking money. I don't know how much it is in real, right? Yeah, it's probably a hell of a lot more. I mean, I guess in America, $9,000 fucking dollars. That's a lot of money for me, even as an American. Just for what? Using a VPN to access a social media site. I mean, okay, again, it might not work and they might not heavily enforce it, but let's say you do get caught and they are put, like, all they need to do is make a couple examples, right? They don't need to get everybody, just a couple people that are, problem childs, make examples of them, and I mean, that would just be that. But anyway, like, we've entered this fucking completely dark timeline, and my entire synopsis of this is I see VPNs being the next target, right? They're already pressuring social media companies, right? They're already pressuring platforms to adhere to draconian, like China level of surveillance of their citizens. Like, obviously they're going to try to go after what people will use to get around these. I mean, it only makes sense. But anyway, that's all I really got to say about this. Peace.